Happy Halloween and welcome back to my channel. I have my flip sequined witch's oversized fleece lined because it's gonna be cold trick-or-treating witch's hat on today. So one side says good and the other says bad, but I'm very bad, bad witch. So thank you for stopping by today. My name is Heather and I am a reseller on the Poshmark, primarily the Poshmark platform. And I'm also a stylist. I've worked from Dallas to New York, and I am trying to pull back on that demanding schedule because I have 3 kids and a husband and I want to spend more time with them. And reselling is beginning to kind of subsidize what I used to make as a stylist, and it's just growing and I'm excited. So on this channel, we will talk about fashion and style advice as well as reselling tips and tricks. So if that's something that you want to hear about, please stick around. And like I said, you can find me at Poshmark at Her Common Thread, on Instagram at Her Common Thread, and I also have a website, Her Common Thread. So today I have just a quick little video about my sharing strategy. You know, there's a lot of back and forth talk on whether or not, community sharing is important, if, you should only self-share. And so this is just what I believe and what has worked for me and what I have seen results from. So I think first and foremost, the most important thing is to self-share. I don't think that it's as important for community share. I am a community sharer because for some reasons I will go into, but I do think if the only time in the world you have, it's going to be more advantageous to just share your own things. So what happens whenever you share your items is they will go to the top of the feed. So if someone, primarily when people shop, they shop by brand. You probably do the same thing. So they're going to type in, Anthropologie skirts, and the most recent shared is what's going to pop up, unless people have it sorted by like just in and those sorts of things. But usually the one that has been recently self-shared will pop up. Now, if someone else in the community shares my Anthropologie skirt, that doesn't share to the searches top. That's only going to share to that particular Posher's followers feed. So if they go on their feed, which not a lot of people just shop by the feed, then it'll share to that. But it's not, all those searches that are so important, it's not going to bump you up at all. So that's something I learned late and didn't realize, but that, it's not going to bump you up in those searches at all. Not to my knowledge. It's not going to bump you to the top like it is when you do your own share and then you go and look at that item and yours is the first one there. It's not going to do that. So the way that I start my day with my sharing is I wake up at 5:45 before my kids, if I have to get my kids up and get them going for school, and I will list 2 items, and they're already in my queue in my drafts, and I just list, and I've been doing a lot of studying on listing strategies. So this is something I'm trying out right now where I list throughout the day instead of all in one clump. But this is what I do. I list those, and then I will share my entire closet. And usually by the time I have about 460-ish, 470-ish, somewhere in there items, by the time I'm done, it's time for me to start getting my kids up and getting them ready for school. So I will get them ready for school. I take them to school. I come back home. I like a nice, neat house. So I will pick things up, and then I will sit down at my computer with my coffee, and then I will share, because it's been about 2 hours, and it's 6 o'clock in the morning. That's actually 4 o'clock in California. So a lot of people aren't even up. So I will share like my top 125 to 150 items, because that's 5 minutes. So I will share that. And then I will go back to my newsfeed and I will share everyone who has multi-shared me that morning. And there's a few people that do it every morning. I don't know who these people are, but they do it. And then at that 8 o'clock hour, so I'm on Central Standard Time, I will go back and share all the ones that they shared for me. And then I'll go through and I'll, share a few extras. I think the algorithm likes it. And so that's another reason why I do it. I also think the more that you're inside the app doing things, then the better response that you get. So sharing other people's takes up time, and so I'll do that. Okay, and then after that, I do my shipping. I do all of my shipping, and then that's kind of it until the parties. So I will share, if I have items, I will share them to the parties. If not, I generally only share about the top half of my closet. And then I will go over to the parties, and I will, the first top 5, I'll individually share each one of those to the party. And then I'll refresh, and the top 4, I will go to each one of those 4's specific page, and I will follow them and share their top 4, whether they're in the party or not. If it's the party, I'll share it to the party. If it's not, I'll share it to my followers. And then I'll go back, and then I'll start that process over where the top 5 rows, I will individual share, and then I refresh again, and the top 4 people, that top row, I will follow and share their first 4. So what that generally does is starts causing traffic to come to my closet. And I know a lot of people say it's not worth sharing one item, but there are people who come check out my closet because of that one item. So it's not necessarily sometimes to just share the love, though I do, and I believe in that, and I stand behind what Poshmark believes in a very giving app, and I love that to be a part of. But sometimes it's just getting new eyes on your closet. They may come back to return the share and find something that they fall in love with, and then they buy it. So community sharing is not necessarily just to help other people, but a lot of times it can actually result in a sale for you. So that's why I do that. So that's how I do the party sharing. Oh, hello there. So I realized as soon as I finished recording that I did not even go into what parties were or how I shared to them or anything. And I did not have time to re-record it because I had to go up to an event at my kid's school. So basically what parties are is Poshmark holds parties 4 times a day. I'm on Central Standard Time. So my times are 11, 2, 6, and 9. And all of them are themed. So it could be like boho. And those brands would be like Anthropologie, Free People, Lucky Brand, those sorts of things. Sometimes they're very general, like best in tops or best in suits, skirts, and dresses. And then you can share those items specifically to a party that's going on. Otherwise, you just share it to your normal followers. And then the one at night, which is 9 o'clock for me, anything goes. So you just share whatever. So earlier I had stated that I share my entire closet in the morning and then maybe just to some of the other parties halfway. But actually in the evening party, I share my entire closet again to the party. And then the way that I share my items to parties that I have items for is I usually go down to the very first one that I have at the very bottom of my feed, whichever comes, whichever one falls in the category of the party they're going to have, and then I will share from that point up because I like to keep my feed in a certain order, and that enables me to share to the party as well as keeping my feed in that order. So sometimes it's the top half, sometimes it's 3/4 of it, but I used to share my entire closet 3 to 7 times a day. And now that I'm just getting more items, it takes a long time to do that. And I am honestly not seeing a huge drop in sales from not sharing my entire closet. It seems to, be just fine sharing half or 3/4 or whatever. And then those 2 times a day, sharing my entire closet when I first wake up in the morning and then at the evening party. And that also tends to generate some sales and some likes late into the evening and then early in the morning. So that I just wanted to make sure that I explained parties, kind of how I share my items to them and how many times I share my entire closet every day. So that's it. Back to your normally scheduled programming. At night, when I'm putting my kids to bed, I will generally, a lot of times, I will try to go share and follow new poshers. So if you're looking at your app and you see at the bottom, or it's at the top, it might be at the top, like a little person's head, click on that and it's going to show you Posh Ambassadors, and it's going to show you like Fresh Closets and Just In. I click on those new poshers, the Fresh or the Just In, and what I usually do is I will share all their listings, because generally there's less than 3. I will share all their listings. I'll follow them and I'll leave them a little note that just says, welcome to the Posh community. Happy to have you here. And so that's a way to community share. And a lot of times they come back to your closet. They're like, oh my gosh, great. I just started on this platform and someone's leaving me a message and sharing my items. I'm going to go check them out. And a lot of times they'll like something of mine. I'll send them an offer, or I've just got a new follower and a new PFF. So try that. Another method of sharing is sharing your liked items. And I've seen this happen. I don't know if sometimes throughout the day, all of a sudden you'll notice there's just this one particular item that all of a sudden is getting a lot of attention, just randomly. Like it could have been something that you've had for 2 months and someone likes it and you send them an offer, and then someone shares it or you share it, and then now somebody else is sharing it, and then now you've got another like. I've absolutely had this, and I've heard people say this before. When someone likes an item, they will share it, and then it's at the top of their feed. And then that way, if this person comes back, or at the top of their closet, and that way, if this person comes back to your closet, they don't have to kind of look for that item again. It's sitting there, and that impulse buy is far greater. Now, I do have a way that I like to have my closet laid out, so I don't always do that. But I do in some instances. If it's like one of those top 20 items, then I normally will do that. And I have seen results of people coming back and liking those items that I've shared that other people have liked. I don't know why, but it works. So honestly, I think that's just about all I have to say about the sharing. I do think that new following, or in what is the word? In conjunction with sharing, following people is also something that's going to be coming into play. So I'm definitely working on getting my followers up and following people. What I actually do every day, I go to my closet, I look at my followers, I click on my followers, and I follow an alphabetical system. So every day I will follow all of the A's. And then the next day I'll follow all of the B's. And then the next day I'll follow all of the C's. Follow back. And it will, that also helps out the algorithm. They like that. And in the future, we're going to be having one of the things they said at PoshFest, one of the hackathons, is that we will be having Posh stories that are not unlike the Insta stories on Instagram. So the more followers you have, the more that they will be able to see that. And the more likely, once again, you are. Just another way to market things for you and more likely for you to get a sale. So that's basically what I do for sharing. Once again, self-sharing to me is the most important, but I also find a lot of value in community shares. So hope you learned something. Let me know what you thought. Comment anything else that you do. What are your strategies that you like to do? Like it, ring the bell, don't like it, whatever you want to do. But thanks for stopping by and taking time to watch my video. And you can find me again at Her Common Thread on Poshmark, Instagram, and on the World Wide Web. Until then, have a happy and safe Halloween, and I will see you next time. Bye.